Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another segment of Come Fly With Us, inside information about insurance. And we're here again with Marcus Becerra, and hope you're doing well today.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, good. Been going good. Been getting kind of busy. Had a question come up recently about liability. Now, this question came to me from a person that was a brand new homeowner. Been in apartment life, brand new homeowner. I started talking about liabilities that they have, now that they're a homeowner.
Mm-hmm.
And there's different types, not just if you're a homeowner with acreage, but even in a subdivision.
Mm-hmm.
There's liability that comes along with that, and there's different types of liabilities.
Yes, sir.
So let's talk about those and kind of give everyone some information on that.
We like to, especially whenever we're trying to put some quotes together for folks, some accurate numbers. Like to spend a little bit of time, getting to know the people, asking them a couple of questions. But when it gets into the liability portion of the policy, there's three probably main things that we look into. The first one is dogs, ineligible breed types. Some carriers are okay with different types of breeds.
Right.
Some are not. And what that really pertains to is like if the dog were to bite somebody, whether it's a family member, the neighbor, or anything like that. For the most part, ineligible breed types are usually your Doberman Pinschers, Rottweilers, Pit Bulls. There's some others that tie into there, Prescanarios, things like that. German Shepherd is a breed that's kind of on some lists, but not on others.
Right.
So it just varies, and it's always good to be up front. I always like to address that on the front end versus having any kind of situations on the back, and up front with folks. Some carriers, if they have one of those breed types, they don't even want the policy at all.
Right, at all.
Some carriers are okay with the breed type, but they're just going to exclude any of the liability if a dog were to bite somebody or cause any kind of harm. And then some carriers are okay with like German Shepherds, those sorts of things. So it just depends on what what kind of animal they have and what carrier fits best with them as far as price and the liability concerns. If a dog has any kind of bad history, that's a no-go.
Yeah.
Probably in the last 12 years, one of the ones that kind of sticks out in my mind was probably a couple years ago. They had a dog that actually bit two different people, and ended up having to put the dog down.
Wow.
So unfortunately, it's going to be a little while before we could even write a policy for them, but that sort of stuff does happen.
Yeah.
So.
It's true, and it's very important, and even if you don't have a dog when the policy is initiated, if you do get one of those dogs, be sure to reach out to your insurance agent because they need to make sure that they've got you with the right company. Like I said, we've got the power of choice here. We've got multiple companies we can shop, and Marcus said some like it, some don't, some exclude, some don't, some just don't want it at all. So it's best to be up front, like he said, and let us know so we can best help you so you don't get into that situation that's very unfortunate where, hey, it's already happened, and now you find out, you're not covered. They're not going to pay.
Yeah, it's all fun and games till somebody gets bit,
right.
And there's a kid that gets bit, or elderly, or anybody really,
right?
And they got a $8,000 or $10,000 medical bill there at the hospital.
Sure.
So it does play a big difference. The next thing on the list is a lot of people have pools. Most carriers are okay with your regular pools. Most of the time, it needs to be fenced at least.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's got a slide or diving board, most of the time it needs to have at least and diving board for sure 10 foot of water.
Right.
But some carriers don't like slides, so it's just one of those things as far as like putting a puzzle piece together. Hey, I have a pool, it has a slide and it has a diving board. Well, there's some carriers that won't even allow that.
Right.
There's some carriers that are okay with all that as long as they have the the depths correct. And
exactly.
Obviously it's got to be fenced. And then lastly, one of the other questions that we talk about is trampolines. Kids love trampolines. Most of the time, carriers are pretty cool with everything as long as the back of the yard's fenced,
right?
And then as long as they have that netting that they have with them. So I know if I had some kids and I had a bunch of people coming over, I would definitely want the net.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't know how many times you've called, my son fell off the trampoline and broke his arm or shattered his collarbone, things like that. So the biggest thing is, liability, CYA kind of deal. Make sure that if something like that were to happen and your family were happen to be negligent, you don't have any kind of lawsuit.
And I hear this all the time. Oh, it's just me and my family and my friends, and they'd never sue me.
Yeah.
But until it happens,
yeah.
And then someone gets their feelings hurt, they get upset, it's their kid. Most parents are this way, man. When it comes to their kids, they're very protective.
Fair.
And so even though you think your good old buddy that you've known for 25 years is not going to sue you, you just never know.
Yeah. And by the way, I tell folks, I'm not a lawyer. I just, this is what what a lot of these carriers look at. Trampoline, pool, and dogs. And sometimes people got all three of them. You know, so we do have some carriers that take all three.
Yeah.
But there's different criteria that need to be met just to make sure that, you're covered, that everything sits in line.
And like you said, with the dogs, sometimes they just exclude the liability. Sometimes they'll exclude the liability from the trampoline as well, right?
And then, sometimes if they have a pit bull and, it's the absolute best dog they've ever had in the entire world, couldn't harm anybody, they're okay with signing the waiver that, the liability is not covered, So each situation is different. Not everybody fits all in the same little cup. So we just got to evaluate that whenever we talk to, our clients and put everybody in the best situation we can.
And that's what's awesome about being with Goosehead, the power of choice. We've got so many different options for you, like we talk about all the time. So reach out to us if you need help. If you have any questions about your current policy, you may not be with us. We'd love to help you out. We review your policy, make sure you're covered properly, and just make sure your assets are taken care of the right way, because you don't want to find out later when something happens that you're not. That's just not a good conversation to have. So share this video with your friends and family, and go to elliscountyvideos.com, subscribe to the YouTube channel, hit the notification bell. Don't forget to check out the insurance section. Check out our past videos, and if you have anything you want us to talk about, you have a question about, we haven't covered yet, reach out to us, jim.ensinia@goosehead.com or 469-585-6012. Thanks again, and we'll talk to you next week.